Hi everyone. So there's one thing I want to talk about with the shadow clones, and after giving them, a little bit of hilarious exposure, I guess at the start of the PTR when they finally enabled the seasonal theme for season 22, I've come to realize that the shadow clones are actually doing something very, very good for the game as well. And that point is mainly that it kind of streamlines the overall power level of builds. So I was complaining that shadow clones are not really that impactful on the actual pushing tiers like 140 plus, where the ranks are happening, and they would only be kind of like relevant for like the lower end. So in D16 usually they just one shot everything, and like GR90 or something as well, and then like as you go to 100 they kind of two shot, three shot most stuff. And then it becomes weaker and weaker because they scale with your character and they don't scale with the Great Rift tier. And well, the difference between greater 100 and greater 140 is something like times 500 HP. So obviously your character is going to get 500 times stronger between 100 and 140, but more realistically something like 10 times stronger or so. And well, accordingly the shadow clones will not scale very much. But what it does is that in GR 100 or 120 or like 105, something 100, 105 is usually what most people speed farm at, I guess, once you're geared, once you have like a proper build. And well, the clones are very impactful there, and it feels amazing to have them. They're like destroying stuff as you are also destroying stuff. So you're really strong, the clone is really strong, you can actually feel them doing something. So that's amazing, and in some cases it's actually really nice for them to just finish off in yellow elite somewhere, or kill the boss for you really fast when you have like a build that is maybe waiting for the convention timer or waiting for some other stuff, or maybe it's just not so great on the boss itself. And well, you have these guys doing the job for you. And also when you're pushing, or kind of pushing like the GR 120 range or so with like some weaker build, or like 115, the clones are very impactful there. So you click the pylon, you have an elite, the elite will die in not too much time in most cases. Obviously there is some balancing issues between the different classes. So for example, Demon Hunter is probably the strongest one. Wizard also doesn't seem bad. Necro is kind of like in between. And then you have like the other classes and not really doing anything, like Barb, I haven't really noticed. I'm not sure about Witch Doctor, that's still one I need to try. I haven't really heard much of it. And well, yeah, there's like some really good classes, some really bad classes. Some skills on one specific class are really overpowered, the rest can be quite weak. So stuff like this. So the balance is kind of like wacky, but the overall picture here is pretty clear. So it lifts up all the really bad builds to kind of like a minimum level, and that is really amazing. So I think this is something to learn for the future, so that maybe there could be some other mechanic that kind of like streamlines everything a bit, to kind of like the same level. And maybe this could be the Conduit Pylon. Conduit needs a rework anyway, I believe. Right now this is like way too weak on low tiers and way too strong on high tiers, so it's exactly the reverse of the shadow clones. And maybe if we make the Conduit Pylons scale with your character again instead of scaling with the Great Rift tier again, there could be some kind of mechanic like this, or maybe the other pylons too, or there could be some other maybe some legendary gems, maybe some other like new stats, maybe some extra cube, I don't know. So obviously tons of options. Maybe they could just change Greater Rifts to some degree, where you always have like a specific extra boost that is like kind of like scaling with you. I don't know, but this is like one of the points that I wanted to mention, that they can be really useful for these weaker builds. So they kind of like boost those up more than they boost the actual pushing, or like the S tier builds or so, because for those the shadow clones don't do anything. And while that feels a bit sad, for someone like me who wants to push like 150 solo, in the end I don't really mind after all, because I will enjoy my builds anyway, and I can really see the appeal of the shadow clones for the lower end. So this is definitely something that is maybe overlooked a bit, and that I felt was worth sharing. And in case of whatever's gonna happen with the rework from the shadow clones, maybe they're gonna nerf them, buff them, I don't know. So it's just something that I think is maybe just something to keep in mind for the future, for the devs, that the builds don't all need to be completely super balanced by themselves, but if you have something that kind of like brings everything to like a baseline 125 plus push, and then you have like some builds a bit stronger, then maybe it could be nerfed. Some of the builds could be, buffed over time to like, create some hype again for them. But yeah, just in general, kind of like having this minimum base level is a very good thing. So just something I want to share here. Let me know what you think about the clones, and maybe you have some suggestions, or maybe you have some idea, how they could scale, how they should be. I don't know. So yeah, just hope you enjoy my thoughts here. I'll see you guys next time.